Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. If you were to ask today anyone around you for anything, maybe you'll ask once, maybe you'll ask a second time, maybe you'll ask a third time. And normally by the third time that you ask someone for a favor, people start to feel like, this person is asking too much. And that's why a poet says, سَأَلْنَا فَأَعْطَيْتُمْ وَعُدْنَا فَعُدْتُمُ وَمَنْ أَكْثَرَ التَّسْآلَ يَوْمًا سَيُحْرَمُ. That we asked and you gave to us, we came back and asked again, you gave again. But whoever asks again and again, one day that person is going to be denied the right of whatever question he's asking. If you have a beggar on the street, he begs you once, he asks you, maybe you'll feel something in your heart, you'll give to him. The second time, maybe again. A third time you'll say, maybe this person is actually trying to take advantage of me. Every time he sees me, my niceness, he wants to take advantage of this. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves it when you ask the first time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves it when you ask the third time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves it when you ask the fourth time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to love it no matter how much you ask Him, because the reason why human beings, they begin to feel an aversion to a person who's asking as opposed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the reason why human beings feel this is because human beings are limited creatures and they have limited resources. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's khaza'in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's treasures are limitless. And that's why a poet says that don't ask the child of Adam. لا تسألن بني آدم حاجة وسل الذي أبوابه لا تحجب الله يغضب إن تركت سؤاله وبني آدم حين يسأل يغضب. Don't ask the child of Adam for anything. Ask the one whose doors are never closed and there's no one there guarding these doors. There's no one there blocking your question. There's no one there blocking your requests. You see, in this world as well, sometimes when we find a lead to someone who is a person of generosity, oftentimes they have what they call hujab, meaning people standing by their door, even if that be metaphorically sometimes, blocking people from coming in so that the requests don't become too much. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't have anyone between you and Him. You raise your hands to Allah at any time within the day and the night, and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal is there to give. وَسَلِ الَّذِي أَبْوَابُهُ لَا تُحْجَبُ اللَّهُ يَغْضَبُ إِن تَرَكْتَ سُؤَالَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets angry at His slave if you don't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's almost like a way of showing Allah that, it's almost like a way of saying to Allah that I don't really need you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to recognize your need to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ أَنْتُمُ الْفُقَرَاءُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ هُوَ الْغَنِيُّ الْحَمِيدُ. O people, you are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is ever sufficient and Allah is ever praiseworthy. Praiseworthy for what? Because He grants, because He's sufficient and He suffices others as well. So ask Allah, my dear brothers and sisters, وَبُنَيَّ آدَمَ حِينَ يُسْأَلُ يَغْضَبُ. And a child of Adam, if you were to ask him, he becomes angry. Allah will not become angry. Allah will rather be happy if you ask. Allah wants you to ask. Allah tells you in the Quran, "Ud'uni astajib lakum." Call out to me, I will answer your call. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي. You see, the Arabic scholars, the scholars of the Arabic language, they say the word إِذَا when it's used within the Quran and outside of the Quran as well. At times when the conditional sentences started off with إِذَا, it shows that the person is encouraging that to happen. Let me give you an example. I want you to come over to my house for lunch today. I say to you, when you come to my house, I will give you lunch. Meaning I'm expecting you to come. Whereas, if I was to say, if you were to come to my house, I'll give you lunch, I'm saying, well, I don't really want you there, but I'm not really expecting you, but if you come, I'll give you some lunch, right? Similarly, when the conditional sentence in the Quran as well is started with إِذَا, Allah is encouraging whatever He's going to say afterwards. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ. When they ask you, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging the idea of asking, they will find me close. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي. About me, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to get to know Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to raise your hands to Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to call out to Him. and they'll find me very, very close to them when they ask. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to draw closer to Him by asking Him, by taking up His offer that He makes every single night to people. And He says to the people and to the creation, as He descends in a way that is befitting only to His majesty, and He asks people and He tells people and He encourages people, هَلْ مِن سَائِلٍ, is there a questioner? فَأُعْطِيَهُ, then I'll give him whatever he's asking. هَلْ مِن دَاعٍ, is there a person who wants to make dua, and I'll give the ijabah, I'll answer his call. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to take advantage of this opportunity. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.